Вы к кому?
Я гуру аналоговой записи ANSSI KIPPO.
Да? Неужели? А это что такое?
Плеер аналоговый.
Так. Так. А тут что?
Пленка аналоговая.
Не понял. А это вообще что такое?
А это аналоговый пропуск.
Hello, my name is ANSSI KIPPO. I'm the founder of ASTIA Studios, recording studio in Finland. And I want to talk to you a little bit about analog sound. Ever wonder why your music doesn't sound like the good classic albums? Why the plugins you use cannot kind of make the superb sound? Well, there's a reason for that, and it's called tape machines and analog.
Janne, if we compare digital recording and analog tape recording, then what could we use for comparison? Something that everyone knows.
For example, an apple.
An apple? You mean this one?
No. This one.
That definitely is a relief. It means you will have no constipation at all.
No.
After this apple, unlike this.
Wouldn't it be cool that you could not make an album for many years, or when you have a song, you could immediately kind of get it out? Well, as we went back from using digital mixing consoles and recording systems back to analog tape, which just sounds so much better. And also the workflow is amazingly different from any digital stuff, because most of the sessions we've done recently have been 1 or 2 day sessions. We are recording from 1 song up to 3 songs in 1 or 2 days. And songs are immediately ready for releasing. We don't need to send any files back and forth. We don't need to spend so much time on kind of thinking and switching and doing stuff.
Well, sometimes digital music feels like modern art. You don't know exactly what's happening there.
Sometimes I feel like Jehovah's Witness when I talk about analog sound. I can say anything, and most likely it will not kind of get through. The message will get through for those people who have visited me, who sit in this very chair, and we listen the same song mixed digitally, and then the same song mixed with analog equipment. Okay, that's not like recording on analog tape, which will take it even further. But the difference is so huge, every single person can hear the difference.
Everybody go to the ASTIA studio with ANSSI KIPPO for analog recording.
My goal at the moment is to bring back good sound, good energy, just purely good music, good sounding music, good emotion in music. Unfortunately, plugins and grids and computer stuff doesn't make it. That's why I choose analog sound.
I feel free when doing analog recordings. Yeah, when we were doing our song here, I have this section in the beginning that is kind of like a radio sound that we've used as an effect before, but ANSSI took it up a notch and brought here like old 50s, 60s something old tube radio and pulled the whole vocals around it and everything up and microphone ahead of it, and there it is, the radio sound. I mean, the authentic radio sound.
Authentic raw.
Yeah, definitely.
This is how masters can react to the wrong word, which is digital.
Digital.
No!
Пароль.
Soulfly.
Чего?
Soulfly. По-английски Ферштейн.
Ну, полет шмеля, что ли?
Полет души, сударь.
I'm Casper from Helsinki, Finland. Tonight Soulfly. Stay metal.
The idea was make some kind of different record, you know, because it was our 10th album, and you know we already done a lot of albums like with different topics, like you know primitive, you know, more tribal, and Dark Ages was like heavier, and then Enslaved was about slavery, and then but I never really done stuff about biblical stuff that much, and I thought it was really cool to mix metal and biblical elements.
But to me it doesn't seem that you are like stick to any kind of, let's say, religion or whatever, any kind of concept thinking in particular, but you just touch upon something from here, from there, and just look at that through your own mind, through your own
That's what we tried to do. That's Archangel was like that, was kind of a biblical take on some songs that would be kind of cool sound sonically, also with different vibes and ideas, and there's a bit Middle East guitars going on in some of the guitar effects, and it's very heavy. Like I think the album is still extreme.
Yeah, it is.
And which I think is good. Soulfly is going that way, heavier and heavier, and I really like Sodomites. I think Sodomites came out really good.
Yeah, it's cool. And the first song actually.
Yeah, we saw that.
And Soulfly 10, it's more like Middle East kind of thing.
Yeah, with the duduk.
But very, very like freedom breathing, like breathing a lot of space inside of this melody and inside of this song.
Yeah, we try. You know, it was.
Any inspiration for this particular song, instrumental, Soulfly 10?
Yeah, the inspiration is the duduk, the instrument that was played by an Armenian guy.
Yeah.
It's from Armenia, and because what we do, the rhythm is pretty much a mantra. You know, it's just keep repeating. You know, there's the same note actually, all the way through with a kind of.
In India, they have this one note which is on sitar, or what was the kind of instrument, which is the note is sounds all the time while others are getting like layers on it.
Yeah,
you know.
So it's the same idea, you know, and we have the guy played the duk on top of it, and I thought that was cool. My first time experimenting with this instrument. I was always a big fan of it since I watched The Last Temptation of Christ, you know, which has the soundtrack, has the instrument, because Peter Gabriel did the soundtrack and used it on it. And my favorite Armenian duduk player is Jovan Gasparian, you know, but I couldn't get him. So I got somebody else, you know. There was a guy from LA that his name was Roman. He played on it, but it was great.
Okay. Why didn't you get Gasparian? He didn't answer.
We could, you know, but time-wise and money-wise also, you know, be difficult. And we had a guy that Matt Hyde knew a guy in LA that could do it, so we just went the easy way.
Yeah, okay. And in the song Prophecy, you mentioned this Navajo reservation, and actually what the question I was thinking about is that Hopi, Navajo, and Lakota, and any other tribe and native tribes in America, they all say that if you don't know how to live on Earth, you can't live on it, actually. And they mean that you have to grow in spirit and drop all the, let's say, toys which you play. Otherwise you destroy the planet and yourself, actually, or maybe first yourself. So what do you think? Why people are acting like blind and lost, still making or pretending to be to know where they go? Why don't they just admit the fact that, okay, I really don't know where I'm going, I just have to give up to nature or something?
Yeah, you know, I think that sometimes, you know, technology is all advanced. We've been to the moon, and we're going to Mars now, and we find internet and all these things, but we can't find cure for some diseases, which is for me, I don't make sense. And we're still killing each other in cartels in Mexico, decapitating people, in Syria, and so we're still barbarism, or barbaric at the same time that we claim to be so evolved in technology and everything. So I think it's just a human fault. It's just we have this. We live this earth, but we don't really respect it. We should respect the earth more.
Yeah, that's kind of difficult thing.
Yeah.
Olga from Russia, she asks, what awaits us, or maybe you thought about that, what awaits after physical death, and if it is reincarnation, what kind of being would it be like, would you like to be, maybe?
Well, I don't know. We like to think that we come back, and we've been here before. I do kind of believe that sometimes, because I feel things in places that I've never been before. I have the feeling I've been there before. And
Deja vu.
Exactly. So it's like, I think we've been here before, and I think after we die, we come back.
To Nosturi.
I think so, so I don't think it ends and it's black and it's over. Like some people think, I don't think that,
Okay. Tim is asking, would you like to play with your grandchildren in the same band? Because you already do with the Zion and
yeah. Yeah, for fun, nothing professional, maybe just for fun to be kind of
family band.
Yeah, but it has been pretty fun now with designing the band, and having watching Lodi Kong and Inside doing the thing. It's quite exciting. We have a really cool metal family,
Yeah, you do. And connected to Russia, because I am from Russia.
Yeah.
From St. Petersburg. So you have some roots in your Gloria wife's side. By the way, did she find anyone there from her relatives, or any kind of roots, or?
Yeah, they live in Omsk.
Ah,
yeah,
so they still live.
Yeah, in Omsk.
Drumsticks asks you, would you like to play at the ceremony of Olympic Games, if that would be possible?
Yeah, if you were invited, it'd be nice, but that's not gonna happen. And I hope World Cup, Russia, we can do some metal shows around the next World Cup. That's what I'm hoping, because Russia loves metal and they love mechs, and hopefully during the World Cup we can come back and do some. Because I love football, I love soccer, and I met some cool people from soccer this year. Met the owner of Ghent football club in Belgium, and the mayor of Ghent also. I met him, and I give the kick out for the game between another Belgian soccer team, Lowery. I'm a big football fan, so.
So you play sometimes there in Arizona, or is it too hot to play?
Yeah, in my backyard with the kids, we play a little.
How hot is that there? Is it?
Now it's okay. But it will get hot around June.
Do you know that the company High Spirits flutes, they do their native Navajo, Odell Borco, maybe. I just got the flute from them, from Arizona, and that's why I thought, yeah, Max is living in the same place. Okay, there is a proverb in Russia, like the man should build a house and raise a son and plant a tree. So it seems like you have already done at least two things, like the son and a house. But what about trees? Have you ever planted any?
Yeah, we have two houses, and there's a nice garden on one of the houses that you know, Gloria works more on that. She likes that kind of stuff. I just help, you know, watering and stuff.
watching.
Yeah.
I like watching.
Yeah, not really planting, but you know.
Okay. Eric asks, who the guy who did the portrait, he asks, how brutal was your life when you were a teenager back then, and 16 or something like this, and it feels like you have learned life from somewhere else but school, actually.
Yeah, it was hard. We were poor, and you know, not many options, and a lot of our friends got into drugs and crime, you know, and end up dead or in jail. And thank God, metal saved me, you know. So I thank metal for saving my life, be where I am today, you know.
So it was quite brutal.
It was brutal, yeah. A lot of violence.
Could you tell some words or some message to people, to guys who are now 10, 12, something like that, so that they are would not be in a hurry and would take time to digest things properly, and how to choose from art, from music, so that they will not go into that commerce kind of bullshit and trading all the time? What would you say? What would you advise to those 10, 12 years?
I think it's like when you're young, you know, you think different, you know, and once you get older, your perception changes, and you know. But I think musically, metal is the best music. I think, you know. That's why, you know, I don't care for pop music or other kinds of music. You know, metal is where I think it's my heart is, you know, and I think it's like a very interesting form of music. You know, metal has some really magic with it that's really, really good.
So kids play metal, right?
Exactly, because it's the best music.
Yeah, it's honest.
Yeah.
You can't fake there on the stage.
No, you can't. You cannot. The people see through.
Yeah. And my mother asks if she actually likes several songs from Soulfly while she had to listen with me. And is there a kind of dish or drink which you could personally call Soulfly?
A drink?
A drink or a dish, some food, which is Brazilian, or maybe you cook it yourself, or maybe your wife, or anything that reminds you of some good things, maybe, or associates with something good.
Well, I like Guaraná. It's a Brazilian soda made with plant from the Amazon called Guaraná. It's real nice, you know.
Something that you like to eat?
I like different food from everywhere, you know, like shawarma, you know, I like...
then welcome to Russia.
Yeah, chicken Kiev. You know, I know that's Ukraine, but it's good.
Which one?
Chicken Kiev. Kiev.
Kiev. Okay, I will check it out.
Yeah, that's good.
Chinese, and they say, the Chinese people, they say that turtle, you know this, very slow, jaboti in Portuguese, right? Jaboti, or what is it?
Tartaruga.
Ah, maybe. They for some reason on the web they say jaboti. I don't know why.
Maybe that's a kind of turtle.
Yeah.
Jabuti.
They are associated with wisdom because it's slow. It takes time to think before acting, and it lives long life. So it's not like a dog which wastes its energy all the time and dies very young, like compared to this turtle. So isn't that kind of better way for people to live and to act like this turtle does?
Well, depends how
because today we are so much in a hurry, so much in a hunt for different goals and illusions and everything. Confrontation.
You know, it depends, I think, how you live your life. You know, I think.
How was it for you? I mean, is it still a hurry up today?
No, I take my time, you know, like, but I like to stay busy, you know, and
busy but not running.
Yeah, but always do something, you know, like to stay creative.
What do you do after the shows when you are back home and just Massimiliano, not Max.
Right. I just really enjoy simple things like watching television and reading books, and I
swimming.
like hiking, some swimming. I also like hiking a little bit, you know.
Okay. Well, actually, one thing, and we're done. Like, could you draw us something? Could you draw us a dog? Because it's like the magazine which I run is a tradition to draw us a dog.
Okay.
Because it's called Rock Dog.
Right.
Just any kind of.
I'm not really good at dog, but I can do a really good dire wolf.
Let's call a taxi.
All right. Hello. Do you speak English?
Ні.
Deliver us to evil.
Куди?
I said deliver us to evil.
Ожидайте.
Coolest bands come from California. Why?
Because California's awesome. No, I think good bands come from all over the world.
Yeah, of course, but from California, if you start to count, you will go far, and they allow, how to say, from one band there will be like in a split period of time, like there will be another band, and they all have big names, and like,
Are you talking about strictly thrash, or are you talking about?
Yeah, thrash, for example. Yeah, 80s, and then there is this
I think, you know,
and then some other stuff.
I mean, our particular brand of thrash, I guess, you know, kind of started in California, but I mean, we pulled influences from Merciful Fate, Angel Witch, you know.
What happened?
Our brethren in Metallica. And
started there.
What's that?
Why thrash started there?
I think.
What was the atmosphere of those days?
I think, well, looking back when we were first like learning our instruments and becoming musicians, I think, you know, speaking for Gary and myself, we pulled heavily from punk rock. Like, we listened to a lot of punk rock and we listened to a lot of classic rock, and I think those two things together, you know, kind of, you know, thrash, our form of thrash was kind of born through that, you know, and you know, the new wave of British heavy metal, Iron Maiden. Like, we listened to Iron Maiden when we were just little kids, you know.
By the way, about little kids, how was your childhood and how was your teenage days there in the area?
It was great. I mean, I knew when I was a super young kid that I wanted to be a musician, you know, and I think.
How did it come through? Influences from inside family?
Oh, from everywhere. Like,
so
just
music was in the air, or what?
It was in my house, you know. My mom had Joe Cocker album, and I just used to pick it up and stare at it for hours. And my older brother brought home Pink Floyd Animals, and that was a game changer for me. Like, you know, mom listened to a lot of folk music and Joe Cocker and
American folk,
Tina Turner, you know. We had a wide range of music in the house, you know, of albums, and, you know, it definitely impacted me from a young age, you know.
What about Tom as a school kid?
I was fortunate because, like, you know, nowadays in schools, like, all the arts they're getting sucked out of the curriculum for a lot of kids nowadays. So, like, when I was going to school, you could learn any instrument, you know. Any instrument, any skill level. Like, if you wanted to play guitar, there was a class, you know, for skill level 1 through 3.
Did you go to any?
Yeah, I took guitar in junior high school, and then I switched to drums because I knew I wanted to play drums. And a friend down the street was selling a drum set, just a little piece of shit, 3-piece, and I bought it for $15. And
goodbye.
it was a good purchase.
Okay. Did you have time to enjoy sunrise in California?
To enjoy what?
Sunrise.
Sunrise?
Yeah, sunrise. Just like, or you are too busy these days to just relax and
Well, this last year we've been super busy, so I haven't seen a lot of sunrises. You know, I try to get my lake time and sun time in there, but you know.
Okay. In the lyrics of the song Exodus, there was like this thread of like painkiller in life, you know, like something like about that, like your pain, how you're going to kill it, something like this. So I mean, the idea is that all of us, we have different moments in life, and which we could call painful. And do we have to kill them actually, or do we have to go through them? How is it for you?
I think
to avoid it.
That particular song, I think Gary and Paul wrote the lyrics to that one, and I never really took much part in the lyrical writing of Exodus. I'm more part of the music.
For you personally, how is it? Like?
I'm not that way. I'm super happy all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But we were kids, and we were listening to a lot of Venom, a lot of Merciful Fate, and I think they were trying to like write lyrics that would just shock the shit out of people, and it worked.
So you still keep on doing this, shocking, keeping.
Kind of, but now it's more of a reflections on the world, and
inner side of
the state of things in the world, and the atrocities of human behavior and shit like that. So
okay, recently I had a talk with Rage, P.V. Wagner, and there was a question from Russian fan to him, like there was a song from Rage, Deep in the Blackest Hole. So the fan, I was asking, we are kind of long time in that blackest hole, in a political or any other sense. So how deep we are there, and is there any exit? For you now, when you are talking about reflections of the world, where are we now? In the blackest hole, or is it as it should be? Okay.
That's a pretty deep question.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as far as the world's concerned, like humans are behaving badly in a big part of it, but
still not civilized.
No. A good friend of ours that took us through South America, our tour manager, says we're barely out of the jungle, but we think we know everything.
So the idea is to admit that we don't know a shit, right? Or
pretty much, because I mean, when you get down to it, we're insignificant as far as the world's concerned.
You are playing today with Lost Society, a band, young guys, but thrashing quite cool. And they have this new album, Brain Dead, and you have also the song Brain Dead. So did they confess to you that they are fans of that song, or?
Well, we've been on the road with them so far like 3.5 weeks, and so far no deep confessions have come out.
Maybe they're on the way.
We're having a great time touring with them. They're like looking in the mirror at ourselves 20 years ago, But I think we were more bad boys than they are.
From BTK, which is Bind, Torture, Kill, song, there was like sex synonymous with death. Why?
Well, it's synonymous with a serial killer in America.
Yeah, I know the Kansas story.
Yeah.
But the line from a song that says death synonymous with sex. Why do you think if we leave this song just behind, if you think about this line, why is it?
I think when Gary wrote the lyrics, he was probably trying to write them through the eyes of the BTK killer, like what he was thinking, and his his obsession was sex and violence. And I think he was writing that through the eyes of that man, doing those things.
Okay, why did you choose to pick up this case? Because it was like quite old one, right?
Well, we have the Ballad of Leonard and Charles too, which is about two guys in California, Northern California, that were mass murderers or whatever. And, I think it all goes back to human behavior and people just being shitty.
Okay, question from the bands from St. Petersburg. How do you still stay on top after all these years and still enjoy living a musician's life?
I think now that we're older, we appreciate the journey more. Like when we were kids, it was more about the party, and now that the fuse is shorter on what we do, we value the journey. And you know, everybody's clean and off drugs, so I think we're better musicians now than we were, say, 2002. And you know, we know what we do as a gift, so we kind of.
How do you recharge the batteries after the show?
After the show,
isn't it
rest.
Jagermeister?
Oh yeah,
Is it a recharger?
We've been known to have a few of these at the end of the night, but not every night. This is awful stuff.
Don't drink it.
But we still do.
Or do drink it.
Yeah. Don't do.
Yeah, listen to Maestro. Okay. There's the song called Numb.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. I don't give a shit that I don't give a fuck. It's actually very deep. Is it?
Is it deep?
Yeah, sure. For you personally, is it that kind of relation to some issues in life?
I can't speak for myself, like, where as far as the lyrics are concerned. Gary wrote those things, and he.
No, I mean we just take this line and apply it to your case.
I don't give a shit that I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, that pretty much sums up being numb, and I think it's being you've seen so much like through news and
all this thrash.
Yes, all this bullshit that happens in the world that you become numb to it. I think that's what he was trying to convey.
But do you personally watch TV?
I do.
You do.
I watch.
Only when they show Exodus.
No. I watch Exodus. That's bad TV. I watch. I like The Walking Dead. I like Vinyl, that new show Vinyl that's on HBO. I like.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't get caught up in reality TV or anything like that. I like good TV.
If you were offered a role in a movie or in an episode or anything, what would it be about or like? What would you like to express apart from music through TV, maybe? Let's imagine.
That's a good question.
Yeah, there's somebody's calling you and says, "Tom, CNN is desperate for you. We need you here."
Let me think about that. Let's go back to that one.
Yeah, okay. How was the cooperation with Chuck Billy on the song BTK? How did you decide?
Well, we wrote it. Chuck just sang backgrounds on it, and he helped coach Zetro through the vocal process of
why did you pick up Chuck?
Well, he was part of our management team at the time, and then he came on as a kind of a vocal coach, first to Rob and then to Zetro, and then we wanted some like really deep, like guttural, background vocals, and nobody in the band could sing like that. Zetro can a little bit, but Chuck's, it just comes from
the deepest side of band.
Exactly. So he was willing to sing background, so he helped us out a lot on that record.
Okay. How do you feel in metal sense, in metal music compared to 80s and nowadays? Was it more like raw and not that polished in sound, not that digital, not that similar each to one to another, and unlike today? And actually, what do you think about digital and analog recording?
I see like when I listen to older recordings, I think there's a beefiness and like a balls that digital doesn't have. But I think even if you're putting stuff to tape nowadays, eventually it gets mastered and it becomes digitized anyway. I like the process. I like the technology of today's recording, and you still got to play the part. And you can't, I don't think thrash is the kind of music where you can doctor up a lot of shit with technology. You can't really fix things. You have to go in prepared when you record and have your shit ready,
And what about those times that were back then and the atmosphere of metal, all in all?
I think back then, we used to keep the mistakes. Like there's a lot of stuff, like wherever there would be a drum mistake, like I would have Gary put a bar drop there, like, all right, that covered that up, you know. Or somebody screamed there, okay, you can't hear that missed cymbal hit or whatever, you know.
Okay.
It was harder to edit back then.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to, like, you know, if you get a good performance and there's like one or two little flubs in there, you can add more layers of guitars or whatever, or something to
But the
cover.
sound, it has this special energies, a special aura around it, like the tape and the digital one.
I agree.
They're totally different. To,
Yeah.
Even to my ear, who is not a pro.
Yeah, I mean,
musician.
when I listen to, like, you know, older bands, like, and that are not even in the thrash genre, like
Yeah.
Earth, Wind and Fire and the Commodores and, you know, bands like that, when they put stuff to tape, there's something there that digital doesn't have.
Some life energy goes away on a digital.
It's not really an energy. I just think it's a beefiness, like a.
Okay. Today people.
It's hard to describe.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to hear from you. It's hard to describe. Yeah, because yesterday I was asking the same questions and the same question regarding digital and analog thing, and people were stuck. You know, how to describe that?
Yeah.
You can't. Today I hear some kind of complaints from fans or musicians, some indie maybe bands, that music went kind of commercial side, and it's been a long time, all those blah 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 about this commercialization of music and all this stuff, and people find an excuse for those who went on money side, because they say you have to eat, you have to drink, you have to care about something, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But what about a century ago, or 2 centuries ago, or 10 centuries ago? People made music, created masterpieces, and everything was so super cool that
Mm-hmm.
you today cannot find that the same level. Didn't they eat? Didn't they drink? They still were alive. What's the problem? Don't they have balls today to make what you did, for example, back then, 30 years, something ago?
So are you saying just because we make music that somebody should feed us and give us drinks and
No, I mean,
you know,
why
take care of
music
us?
goes to satisfy everyone and goes to accept the rules accept the demands of labels, which want to make more money than they have. Why don't they go their own way? What's happening? And that influences music, because not many bands have their own face. You can count them on fingers of maybe 3 hands.
Yeah. You just have to stay true to your craft and, like, always do the best you can, I think, you know.
So that was your motto.
It is. I mean, it's always like work hard and do the best you can and stick to your guns. If you believe in what you're doing, then, you know, stick to it.
Okay. So
I mean, as far as, you know, being a millionaire and having a mansion and all that shit, I know where we are and I know what we do. We're a mid-level band and we try to kick ass every night, and we just try to crush the audience every night.
If we sum it up all together, your quick, short message to those who are now thrashing all over, like young bands, and what would you say?
There's a lot of stuff I'd like to say.
How to encourage them, like, shortly?
I would say no matter how successful you become or how badass people tell you, don't ever get caught up in your own legend. Just, you know, stay focused and be true to your craft, and and understand that it's a gift to be able to play music for a living. But it's always good to have a backup plan too, you know. You might want to take up welding and
You listen to the person who is full of wisdom, okay? Tom Hunting.
I have a lot of it.
Or you will be hunted. Haunted. Okay, thank you.
Pleasure. Oh, by the way, back to your other question.
Yeah,
I think I'd like to be a detective.
A detective?
Yeah, like on a cop show.
Wow, that's cool. With a lot of murder or not?
I would like to be like a fumbling detective, you know, like
Columbo.
Yeah, like Columbo, exactly. Like a long-haired Columbo.
Why not?
Who kind of, like, you know, goes home and thinks about shit and then comes back and ends up catching the bad guy.
Intellectual kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Then maybe Jägermeister is one of the methods to get that intellectual. Okay.
And vitamin C.
С нами сегодня Юджин из группы Next Door to Heaven. И у нас к нему вопрос. Удалось ли ему затусить с кем-нибудь из групп, заявленных в этом видео? Но, поскольку у Юджина сейчас обет молчания, и он пытается способствовать успокоению своего ума, мы не хотим его нарушать, и поэтому нам поможет переводчик Даша. Итак, Юджин, удалось ли затусить с кем-то?
Да.
I have a few questions to you, Sammy.
I'm not really in the mood right now, dude.
What do you say now?
I still don't know what really do. Not now.
Maybe this will help.
Now we're talking, dude. So, what questions do you have?
I don't know if I shall tell you.
Oh, come on, dude. This help?
Still not sure.
Still not sure?
No.
Well, how about this, dude? This help? Well,
yeah.
Fair play, man.
Several questions from fans in St. Petersburg who are already waiting for you.
Oh, cool.
Ready for May. Igor asks, you are playing very cool, groovy thrash, so which pushes the shit out of him. And is there any fuel which you use before you go on stage, and what is it if it?
Any fuel?
Fuel, yes.
We're drinking gasoline before the shows. Nah, dude, I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, it's really hard to explain because, you know, just when the intro tape starts playing and we're behind the stage and we can hear the crowd chanting, you know, that's the thing that just changes something in us, you know, it gets the adrenaline rush. The adrenaline starts running through our veins and we just, you know, we get in the mode and we're like, now we're gonna play the best fucking show that anyone has ever played. And then when we hit the stage, you know, it's basically the whole show is kind of like it's the fans give us energy and we give the fans energy, so you know it's a win-win situation, and it couldn't happen without the crowd, you know, so they're helping us as much as we're maybe helping them have a good time, you know, so it's basically we don't do anything before the shows, you know, it's just some water and high fives and shit like that, but it's just, you know, the adrenaline rush that gives us energy to kick ass every night.
Cool. I think you Igor drink gasoline. That's the answer.
I'm not saying that, dude.
I do.
No, you're saying that.
I take responsibility, you don't. Okay. After the band is physically gone, when they are passed away, or members of some legendary bands, their writers become journalists. Rock journalists start to write thousands of bios on them, and so on. So, is there any fact or any whatever about your band which you would like to be mentioned in such a bio?
A fact?
A fact or some story or anything you would like to share which would definitely reflect Lost Society, how to say, express Lost Society spirit or something, some case.
Well, you know, I mean, because, you know, I've always considered the band to be a live band. You know, of course we release studio albums, we're proud of the albums, but we're a live band. And I think one of the facts that could be mentioned is that I think out of about 200 shows that we've played, at least on half of them, you know, at some point of the show, someone gets hit in the face with a guitar or someone falls down. And I mean, it's just, you know, a constant movement on stage and we're just going crazy. I think that's a fact that people should know, you know, that we genuinely love being on stage. You know, you can see the smiles on our faces all the time, and it's just like looking at a couple of fucking rats doing cocaine on stage, but that's basically what we do. We just run around
And
without the cocaine. Without the cocaine.
Yeah,
but,
without.
you know, I mean, that's a fact. Other fact could be, you know, that what I've always said, which is true, that we never drink before our shows, you know? We everything that you see us do on stage comes from the heart, and that's, I think, how it should go, you know? Nothing, no performance enhancing drugs or alcohol or anything. It's just pure for fucking guys who love to play music.
So just 4 hammer smashed face with guitar necks.
Basically, yeah, dude.
Okay. Some couple of questions from the band called Next Door to Heaven. Most bizarre thing that happened to you or to anyone from the band during gig on stage, something that.
Well, that would have to be 2 years ago in this festival called South Park in Tampere, Finland. We were playing our show, and you know, because a couple of years ago we had all this stage antics, you know, with the red guy and all of that shit. So we were just playing one of our songs, and suddenly this dude with rastas comes on stage, totally dressed, and then he starts stripping on stage, and we're like, what the fuck is happening? This is totally not part of the show. So apparently this dude had gone to security and said that, yeah, I'm a part of the show, you know, because they have all of that weird shit. So he came on stage, starts stripping and throwing water on us. And we're just, I mean, we went on with the show, obviously, and you know, we just went along with it. But after the show, we asked each other, did you know that guy? And everyone's like, nah. And we were like, what the fuck just happened? I'd have to say that was the weirdest moment ever on stage.
So he got away with no kind of fine or.
No, and after the show we found him and we took pictures with him, and you know, I mean, he's an alright guy, no problem, but at the moment that it happened, no one knew who he was, so it was kind of weird, but you know, you can expect basically anything in a Lost Society
He's
show.
your fan.
He was a fan, yeah.
So guys, the advice, be confident and do whatever you want.
Yeah, just jump up on our stage and fucking start stripping, we like that shit.
But if you are a girl, that's better.
Of course, naturally.
Natural girl. Okay. And another question is, they have a song called Lose the Ground. Have you ever had a case when you felt like losing the ground? In positive or negative, whatever. Both.
Losing the ground?
Yeah, losing, like feeling you're losing the ground under your feet, you know, like losing, not physical feeling, but spiritually something.
Well, sometimes I've actually lost the ground just in the sense that I fucking fell off stage. I think that's the most literal meaning of losing ground.
Was it like, how far?
It has actually been a couple of times. Actually, a couple of weeks ago it happened the last time we were somewhere in the UK, and I was just, you know, running around the stage, and because, you know, we're a support band, so our drums are in front of Exodus's drum set. So then I didn't have a lot of space, then I was just running around, I'm like, holy fucking shit, and just jumped off stage. Luckily I didn't fall on my ass or anything, but you know, kind of sucked.
You be careful.
I have to.
We need you in May. Afterwards, you can do whatever you want.
Maybe I'll do it in Russia, then I'll just,
yeah.
I'll disappear on stage.
Just let me know in advance. I will switch on the camera. When on tour, do you have a break? Do you have some kind of time off everything? A break to break?
Well, you know, the thing that I love to do, you know, because usually a couple of our guys from Lost Society, you know, they always love to go walk around the city when we arrive, you know, after we've loaded in. But for me, I love peace and quiet before shows and after shows, mostly, you know. Because when we've loaded in, I usually just do this, exactly this. I come backstage, just sitting around on a couch, going through, you know, my social media and just chilling out totally, you know, because I think it's really important for a musician, or at least for myself, that I just space out completely. I don't think about anything. And then when I hit the stage, you know, then I can give everything I have. And after the show, usually, I'm just completely dead, because that way you can see that you've given everything you possibly have and left it on stage. And then, you know, after that, you know, I just come backstage again, I'm just chilling out, have a Gatorade, and after that, then if I want to party, I'll party, if I don't, I don't. And I mean, you know, the best way of chilling out after that, then just fucking put a movie on have some pizza and just chill out. That's my way of relaxing.
Of Zen.
Exactly.
Modern
exactly.
Zen.
I'm not a yoga guy, but I'm a pizza and movie guy.
Okay, that's cool. That's honest. you know?
It's
and that
no
works.
bullshit,
And
no
that
bullshit.
works.
It does. It does.
Have you ever tried analog recording on tape rather than digital? And do you see any difference and any kind of do you have a wish for that?
Well, you know, I mean, all of our albums have been recorded digitally because mostly just because there's very few places or studios, you know, that have the analog equipment nowadays. But you know, it would be cool sometimes because I remember last time we were recording our album, Nino, our producer, he showed us that they had, you know, the old school analog tapes and shit. And because he explained to us, because we didn't know previously, how they cut the tapes, you know, like, or edited. Exactly. And, you know, I mean, it was just mind-blowing seeing, you know, that there's a bunch of fucking engineers in the studios, you know, back in the 80s and the 90s, who cut the tapes if you fuck up.
And then they have this narrow scotch.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it just blew my mind because you think of music nowadays, you know, you fuck up, you just move your mouse and that's it. But that just shows to us and everyone that, you know, and back in the 80s that you really had to know how to play your music.
And had to know what you are doing actually.
Exactly, and I mean the fact that everything was recorded live and done like that, I mean I respect it, of course, a lot, but obviously on the other hand, I respect the digital age in the way that obviously now you can just make your shit sound better. And I don't mean that in the way that we edit everything we do, you know, of course we practice for hours and months before we go to the studio, but I mean, you know, pros and cons on both.
Yeah, but in the sound, do you hear some difference between old tape recordings and nowadays?
Well, you know, I mean, nowadays the fact of the matter is that with less money you can make your music sound better. And I mean, it's a harsh reality that, you know, nowadays if you record stuff like with quality of the 80s, it's just not gonna get so much attention. Because I think that people will think more that, oh, so these guys are just doing a half-assed album that sounds terrible. That's the harsh reality, that's what people would think. But, you know, obviously if you make a good album that's recorded digitally, it has good sounds, everyone's gonna be all over that shit.
That shit, that thing that you said, people find it harsh. Isn't that because their ears are got used to polished things, to polished sounds?
Exactly, dude, you're totally right.
Losing that raw thing, you know?
But that's the thing, because I think, you know, nowadays when we don't rely, I mean, when we can rely on the amazing studio technology, I think it drives people to make even better music, because they know that even the shittiest band can have good sounds. Now we gotta make really good songs, so they can rely on that. So, you know, it makes people work harder, but it also makes some people work shittier. It's you know, there's two sides in everything, you know, it's really hard. On the other hand, you know, of course I love analog sounds, I love the albums that have been recorded totally with the analog shit, but I also love the digital stuff, so it's, you know,
okay,
it's hard.
We'll let you go with it.
Thank you.
Okay, question from Valentina. The most bashing gig ever played or visited by you?
Our show, or what I've gone to see?
Either played or what you visited. Any which comes to mind.
The best show that I've ever seen in my life was... that's actually hard because I've seen a lot of good shows lately, but, you know, because for me, you know, Iron Maiden, best band ever, so it's gotta be Iron Maiden. And I think the best show that I've seen from them was in... did you read about that thing like years ago? It was that Sonisphere in Finland. There was the huge storm, the hurricane. So I was there.
Oh shit.
Obviously I survived the hurricane, no problem. But you know, I mean, it was just the coolest like spirit and atmosphere ever. You know, when you see hundreds of the engineers just trying to fix the stage, and they made it happen. The show was played. You know, it was 2 hours, 3 or 4 hours late, but they did it with the gear that they had, and you know, the spirit was just amazing, and it was all dark and all foggy, so I'll remember that shit for the rest of my life.
So big vibrations in
Yeah,
the real
because you
rock.
know, usually when Maiden are in Finland, it's sunny all day and all night. So you know, you don't get the same feeling as what it would be inside. But now finally, or that time, you know, it was totally dark and misty. So the energy was there, and
What year
obviously
it was?
they just played amazingly, dude.
What year it was?
It was 2010.
Oh.
It was either 2009 or 2010 in
So
Boris,
guys, you are late, 6 years late.
But you are never too late to see Iron Maiden. They're touring right fucking now.
And
So go see them.
Is it the same level of storm there at their gig?
Well, no, hopefully not.
Okay. 8th century Buddhist monk called Kobo Daishi. He said, never follow the steps of the ancient guys, whatever wise they are considered, but rather look for what they had looked for and do it your own way. How would you, is it applicable to music, or is it applicable actually to any aspect of life, and for you personally, how's that?
Well, you know, there's a lot of truth in that, because, you know, I've lived my life the way, and I've done my music the way that, you know, I'm not copying anyone. Because it's easy to go through life just doing exactly what someone else does, and not, you know, not do anything that you want to do yourself. It's easy to go through life like that, but it's not going to be as rewarding as if you accomplish something with your own goal. I mean, with your own fucking standards and with your own terms.
Yeah, when you are following, then it's kind of supportive, right? When you have a support from the past, somebody already did that. And when you are going on your own, it's kind of dangerous feeling.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there's always the possibility to choose the safe way or then the hard way. And
life,
of course,
life is not safe, right?
Well, no. I mean, you gotta do what you. I mean, I'd say that the main focus on this whole thing is just that you gotta do what feels good for yourself. You know, we've written music, all of us, for the last 6 years. And you know, obviously we have a lot of influences in old bands. That's just a fact, because all of the genres that we play now, they were perfected back in the 80s or the 70s, and of course we borrow a lot of things from them. But in the end of the day, we do what we feel like doing. You know, the music that we publish and record, we love that shit. We love it so much, and we would never record something that we don't
also love that shit.
What?
We also love that shit.
Awesome.
Thanks. All the shit by the way, all the shit in this world.
All the shit.
Yeah, holy shit. All the shit in this world is done with a serious face, with a missionary face, let's say. When you are getting older, and as far as I noticed for myself or for other people, that growing and getting older makes smile fade away from your face quite often. So you are going to be like a teacher with your experience, with your baggage, and your kids are gonna obey or whatever. And have you ever done childish stuff, which is called childish, but fun stuff, without any reason for that, or without any kind of expected benefits, or this shit of trading relations? I give you and you give me, or if I don't give you, then you say what the fuck this guy is, or something like this.
Well,
Some
you know,
childish piece of fuck.
We're kids, all of us still, you know, in the band. I mean, I could never say that we do childish things, because we are children still. I mean, you know, the oldest guy is 23 in the band, so I mean, we're considered still, you know, youngsters, obviously. And I mean, the smile is not fading away from our faces anytime soon. I can say that for sure, because, you know, I mean, we're so grateful for everything that's been happening to us for the last, you know, 5-6 years, and we've accomplished at this stage more than we could have ever imagined. So I mean, you know, the smile it's just like a small grin, you know, like, holy shit, we've actually made it in some standards, you know. We've enjoyed the ride, and every time we're on stage, you know, half of the time we're just smiling because we're having a good time, and that's what everything's all about, you know. If you get into music to be angry all the time and not enjoy anything, then you're in the wrong fucking business, you know?
You see, Sammy is stripping already.
He didn't notice that, but I did.
It's getting hot.
Oh, whew, I have to drink. So, could you finally make a quick message to young dudes, kids, and everyone who is rocking or starting to rock or feeling that wish to rock? just to encourage them somehow, so that they would follow their own way, whatever it brings?
Well, you know, I mean, I can just say that, you know,
because it can be hard.
Lost Society is a prime example of that. You know, we were just 4 kids who had a dream that we want to play music and we want to do something with it. And then we didn't give up. We were just practicing constantly, and we just had the mindset that now we're going to do something cool. And a couple of years later, we're somehow in this situation that we're supporting Exodus for a European tour. We have 3 albums out. So I mean, you know, the main point is just not giving up. You know, of course, we were lucky in many ways. We were at the right place at the right time. But, you know, many bands, you know, shit doesn't come at once. So you can't expect that, you know, if you've been a band for 2 years and you have 1 demo out, that you're going to become the biggest band in the world. But you got to work for that, you know. You got to accept the fact that it takes hard work, and sometimes it takes a lot of time until something starts happening. But if you just keep on doing it, keep on practicing, shit can happen. Because you never know, you know, you can play a show for 1 person, but that 1 person might be the head of the biggest record label in the world, and they'll sign you, and that's it, you know? You never know what can happen.
Cool. Thank you, Sammy.
Oh, no problem, dude. My pleasure. Rich me up tonight.
Еще больше сосаете.
Привет, everybody.
Okay, so I'm disappearing now.
Okay. That was short.
Too much of me.
So, as you know, you've just returned from Japan.
Yeah.
And you were there at the festival. So, what can you tell us about the fans there? Were they hungry enough for your music? And
terror hungry.
They were hungry, and then some more. I mean, the Japanese crowd is just unbelievable. It was already the 3rd time for us that we had the honor and the privilege to go to Japan. We did the Loud Out Fest along with Loudness and a bunch of other killer Japanese bands, and then we actually did also our first headline show in Tokyo or in Yokohama, and I mean, both shows were just amazing for us. You know, the fans there are just so passionate about the music. You know, when they go to a show, they really come to a show to see the music. You know, they don't get there just to get hammered and, you know, shit like that. But I mean, they were 2 great shows, and we just can't wait to get back there.
Great.
Are you going to get back there soon?
I mean, I hope so. You know, maybe this year already, in the end of the year, maybe next year. You never know. But anytime we get an offer, we will fucking fly straight there.
Look, last time I was doing interview with Cataclysm guys, you know the Cataclysm band from Canada. So Maurizio Iacono, he is the voice of the band. He used to run pizzeria business in Chicago back in some days, but then he went bankrupt, I guess, or something. So, but anyway, you eat pizza, right? You like that kind of food? Yeah. Old school thrasher. But what would be the recipe like if it's called Lost Society pizza?
Lost Society pizza?
Yeah, what would it be like?
Well, I mean, you know, it would be a pretty straightforward pizza. I mean, because we're basically all of us are meat lovers, so you know, it would be just a bunch of fucking meat. Especially kebab, obviously.
So
like that,
only meat.
We go pretty simple, you know, just a bunch of meat.
No metal particles there.
Now that we've tried that it's pretty fucking dangerous, so we'll just stick with meat.
Okay.
Okay, so we know you as a thrasher, but is there anything untrashy
in your life?
that you do in your life?
Unthrashy? I'd say that there's a lot of things that are pretty fucking unthrashy in my life. I mean, even down to the music that I listen to, you know what I mean? Because there's a bunch of people always out there, you know, who think that just the fact that you play thrash metal means that all of your life runs around that whole genre of music, but you know, I mean, fuck that. For me, you know, I can listen to everything. I absolutely love pop music. You know, I can listen to rap or reggae or jazz or anything. And I mean, especially, you know, when we're coming home from a show, if someone puts a metal album in the fucking car, we're gonna say no more. Because I mean, you know, when you've been listening to the genre of music for the whole day or a whole tour, then it's like, nah, we gotta listen to something else. And I'd say that's probably maybe the biggest thing. But I mean, I'd definitely say it's obviously not a bad thing. I mean, I always love to listen to new music and new kinds of styles.
Okay.
Are there any inventions in today's world which you would like to eradicate totally from Earth? Like any kind of digital or whatever kind of invention?
Well, as a matter of fact, those fucking...
I was just going to do that, right?
These, I don't know what they're called, you know, those things that you step on and they have two wheels and they... Oh yeah, they call them hoverboards. They don't hover, so you cannot use that word. I think that is like the most useless piece of technology I've ever seen in my life.
You would eradicate that kind of shit?
Yeah, I would.
With those who use it?
Yeah, exactly. Just burn them all.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
So, do you believe in reincarnation? And if so, maybe you would like to become a man, a woman, a guitar, a parrot, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd love to become a man, yeah.
Again,
I don't know, I mean...
The same story again.
A musician or just...
I don't know if I was born again as something else, you know, I mean... I don't know, because if I had a totally blank mind, you know, you'd never know what I could be, but... I mean, I think music is just one of those things. I bet I would be doing something related to music, or then if I was blessed enough that I would be really beautiful and become a model, obviously, but you know, you gotta work with what you get.
Okay, you got this super kind of hit, like I'm the Antidote. What would you say that, yeah, you could serve as antidote to what kind of today world's feature, which is like a disease and metaphorically, like what would you, for what kind of shit would you serve as a good antidote?
Well, you know, I mean, the song in many ways, you know, you can think about it even in just the sense that I am the antidote kind of refers to the whole band and the music, because I mean, in the world we live in nowadays, you know, where there is all kinds of bullshit all the time, I'd like to think that music is one of those kind of sacred powers that there still is that no one can touch. And I'd say that, you know, when people come to our shows, politics, death and shit like that is the last thing on their minds. You know, we offer them just something totally different to think about and just, you know, let off and release all of their anger into the music. And, you know, Lost Society is the antidote, at least for something and for some people.
Cool. So, all politics.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have any time to think about stuff like that, you know.
I mean, we invite all the politics to your show.
Oh yeah, sure.
To kick their asses and just make them think in a bit different way.
Yeah, welcome to our shows, please.
As we said like recently, like we'll leave one greedy motherfucker just to kick his ass at your show. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So we talked with you about the untrashiest things on you, but what is the trashiest thing you do?
Well, you know, I mean, just when we started talking about pizza, obviously, you know, it's just one of those things that, you know, the most cliche kind of thing that you think about of someone who plays thrash metal.
Yeah.
It's the combination of alcohol, pizza, skateboarding, and just thrash. And I'd say that with the... Oh yeah, exactly. I gotta flip it more, but I just don't want to do it because it's so awesome. But I mean, I'd say that those four things, for example, I mean, that's like the thrashiest thing that, you know, I do and a bunch of people do, you know, like basically everyone who plays thrash metal. You'll see them either in a bar, in a pizza place, or at a skate park.
If you were on a desert island with no one around, like Robinson Crusoe, or how was the guy called? What would you need first? Like 3 or 4 things which would you like to have there?
Well, I mean, besides the shit that I don't need, like food and water and stuff, I mean, I'd need obviously something to do there, so I'd need a guitar. I mean, thinking that if I'd have to stay there for a long time, I'd need a guitar, I'd need a bunch of good food, I'd need some fucking kebabs and shit like that. If there's any asphalt there or any, you know, concrete, I'd need a skateboard, and then obviously I need a woman. I mean, I'm not gonna stay there alone for a bunch of fucking months. So yeah, pretty standard.
Okay, so do we have anything else to ask you about? Yeah, the last one. Do you believe in wonders or something that you would call like divine intervention, like Slayer album, kind of thing that happened to you in life which you would not expect, which you'd like Tarantino movie Pulp Fiction, did you watch it?
Of course.
So when Jules says it's divine, it's touch of God, and Vincent says it's not, it's just some fucking coincidence. They're totally different minds. If you
Well,
watch
I mean, because I mean, with religion and stuff like that, I have absolutely no, comments on that.
No, I mean,
nothing
I don't
like
mean
that.
religion,
But I really feel that, like, especially in these 20 years that I've lived my life, that there is something, some weird shit happens always, that doesn't necessarily have any real explanation. So it could be divine intervention. I don't know. It could be. I mean, especially for us, I mean, we've played music for like 5 years, and now we're here headlining shows, like in Russia and Japan and stuff like that. So I mean, I'd say that there's some force that has got us here. You never know.
Каковы основные темы лирики группы? Ну это...
Это потом. Каковы основные темы лирики группы? Есть что-то, чего еще не коснулись, но хотите. И всегда ли лирика касается внешнего мира, или вы можете видеть что-то и в себе, что можно назвать невежественным, говорит Янни Османен из Лахти. Что касается основных тем в лирике, наверное, это в принципе жизнь. Я чаще пишу о других людях, нежели о себе. Вот хочу коснуться этой темы. Очень часто многие, читая мою лирику, думают, что это все обо мне. Нет, это не обо мне, большинство как раз не обо мне. И даже не о моем личном опыте, а чаще о чем-то другом. Либо о каких-то персонажах в жизни, которых я когда-либо встречала, общалась и так далее. Есть, конечно, и мои личные переживания, не без этого. Темы, которых не коснулись, конечно, есть. Их очень много, и я думаю, что их хватит еще на много альбомов.
Дай бог.
Дай бог, да, что так, потому что всегда есть о чем поговорить, всегда есть на что посмотреть, потому что, выходя из дома, я всегда смотрю вокруг себя, на природу, на людей, на события. Мне кажется, это все стоит того, чтобы это описать. Единственное, чего мне не хотелось бы касаться никогда в своих песнях, это политики. Это вопрос принципиальный. ANSSI, KIPPO. Две разные по настроению песни, которые вы бы хотели записать не цифровым способом в ASTIA студию. Не цифровым способом.
Кстати, у нас проблема с этим делом, потому что то, чего мы хотим, все равно нужен цифровой способ. Мы уже не совсем ламповые музыканты, скажем так. Мы стараемся сейчас же все сделать очень прилизанно и очень гладко. Аналоговая запись, она предполагает что-то более такое.
Я думаю, что может быть It Won't Let You Go.
Кстати,
наверное, да, ее, потому что песня медленная, соответственно, интересно, когда она приобретает такие оттенки. Было бы интересно послушать, по крайней мере. Мне кажется, это было бы классно.
Что ты думаешь, что?
Насчет второй, уже сложнее. Но, наверное, можно было бы попробовать поговорить о чем-то из наших новых песен, которые еще не вошли в наш дебютный альбом.
Вот с этими посмотрите. Они еще были должны быть.
Мне кажется, нет. Можно было бы попробовать записать песню, которую сейчас находится в обработке, но спойлерить не будем. Так, следующий вопрос. Пишете ли вы новые песни сейчас? Какие идеи есть и будут ли они жестче или мелодичнее на следующем диске? Спрашивает Фернандо из Бразилии. Начни.
Дорогой Фернандо.
На самом деле, сложно сказать, жестче или мелодичнее. Скорее, наверное, более мелодичными, но при этом нельзя сказать, что они будут без жесткого.
Они просто будут сложнее.
Они будут просто сложнее. Мы немного углубляемся в концепцию, можно сказать.
В концепцию чего? Концепцию прогрессивной музыки.
В концепцию более прогрессивной музыки, да, но это не значит, что мы уйдем настолько далеко, как там, например.
Слушай,
сильные жанры всего.
Мишуга.
Мишуга они изначально, что делали, того они и придерживаются. Не будем падать так низко, как группа Сан, Дрон какой-нибудь, играть нам не надо.
Ну, в общем, мы не будем удаляться в крайности, но некоторые ставки, которые берут за основу прогрессив, уже появятся на следующем диске.